Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another
That
episode
intro.
of In Black and White on YFNA News, the Blue and White Takeover. I'm your host, Rick Lockhart, and I'm joined by. Go ahead.
Kendra Brielle.
So I was laughing because during the intro I saw you kind of dancing too.
I love the intro.
And I'm sorry, y'all. I saw this during the intro and it tickled me. Welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in here Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you are watching this on Facebook, please use the YouTube link to click over and join us. I'm sorry, if you're watching this on Facebook, click over on the YouTube link so that you can join the conversation. While you're there, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel and share this on your social media platform so that your friends and followers can also join in the conversation. Hit the little alarm button so that you can check out all of the content on our page, as well as or including the 13% that airs Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time with host Cynthia McDonald and Arthur Ward as they talk about politics and policies that impact the Black community. Kendra, it's been a week so far. There's a lot going on there. How are you?
I'm good. Yesterday I was talking about it's been such a long week and it was Tuesday.
And
Can you believe?
So much in the headlines to cover, and we're gonna jump into some of those as well. But as you see at the bottom of your screen, if you'd like to join our conversation, the phone lines will be open. We really want to hear from you how you're doing post-election, because there's quite a bit, to deal with. So the number is down there at the bottom, 951-364-2430. Chat with us. We want to hear from you. So, hey, Kendra.
Hey.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. Almost forgot. Happy belated Founders Day to the ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and a happy Founders Day. Don't do that. And happy belated Founders Day to the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, because this is a Divine D9 hosted show. Can't forget those two outstanding organizations and their contributions to the community. So, did you hear about the Million MAGA March? So there was a Million MAGA March hosted last week.
That makes sense.
And I don't know how to take that. I joined Parler last week because I needed to up my trolling skills.
Oh my God.
Right. And so I saw this live video of someone talking about going to this rally in DC, and I looked into this, and so there was a Million MAGA March that took place in DC. I just feel like it was a group of people getting together, spouting racist behavior. That's just my take on it. I don't know. I didn't follow up on it. Have you heard anything about it? I didn't.
No.
Yeah. I didn't either. I really didn't want to give the time of day to it, but there was. So if you all have any updates on how the Million MAGA March went, please let us know, because that sounds like a devastating event. So I don't know.
So on Parler, is it like Facebook but for those people?
So it's kind of like Facebook meets Twitter. But here's the thing, and I really want to get some thought behind this, because sources are saying that people are leaving Facebook and Twitter because of their, and I have not checked out magabook.com. I don't want to, but sources are saying that people are leaving Facebook and Twitter because of the restrictions that have been put in place around freedom of speech and censorship, to disinformation. My thing is this. So many people in generations like ours are getting their news not from traditional news outlets and sources. They're going to social media. So if social media is responsible or has this responsibility of communicating news, then it should be, fact check. It should be reliable news, right? And people want to go over to Parler because, and again, like I've said on this show before, when people want to remove being politically correct, what I hear is you just want to say the N-word out loud to your friends in front of people. Like that's what I hear when I hear people say that, exactly. Right? So
yep.
they say they want to go over to Parler for it. So I checked it out. I joined, and I was really grateful to see that there just aren't, right-winged people and racist people by themselves. There are quite a few people who had the same mindset as I did and wanted to go over and, up their trolling skills, because it's a lot of trolling.
Did you share this to your Parler account?
I did not share this to my Parler account. I guess I should share this to my Parler account. Maybe that should be a thing. Hey, if you guys are on Parler,
absolutely,
come find me. I can't even remember what my username is right now, so it's fine. I saw like one of my Facebook friends decided that they wanted to join Parler, and I could find them on Parler. I'm like, yeah, you're in that group too. Oh man. So hey, COVID cases are still on the rise. Illinois is going back to phase 3 on Friday, and Chicago has a stay-at-home advisory. I think Illinois probably is going to have it now too. How are you all doing down there in South Carolina?
We actually just lifted our mask mandate not long ago, so not many people wearing masks. People down here still think it's a hoax, and the election's over, so they thought it should have disappeared by now. So, same old, same old.
So, what you're saying is everybody wants to catch it, apparently, in South Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to pray it away, but if we get it, we'll be fine.
How is that even? I'm still baffled that there are people who don't really understand the responsibility that comes with being just a human being, being a decent person, and keeping people protected from this virus. Like, what is it? What is it?
I don't know. Last week or whenever you had Katie on here talking about the percentage of people dying or whatever, if me wearing a mask saves one person, then it's freaking worth it. If it saves one person, then it's worth it.
So I posted on my Facebook account the other day a poll that I wanted to take. I don't know if you saw the poll that I did about the vaccine, who would take the vaccine as of now, who is up for wearing a mask. I got quite a few responses of people all across the board who are wearing masks, and I was relieved to see that. But also, there are quite a few people who are not ready to take this vaccine. What are your feelings on the vaccine?
I mean, I'm iffy, but I mean, it's new, but I don't know. It's scary. But like I said, to save a life, do what you got to do.
So I'm dreadfully reminded of the Tuskegee Project when we talk about vaccines. Here's my stance on vaccines, and the thing is this: my sister, who's a pediatrician, is she stands behind the science and the education and being the doctor that she is when it comes to vaccinations. I have never gotten the flu vaccine. Okay, I don't take the flu vaccine because I've never gotten the flu. Now, some may say, well, you don't want to wait till you get the flu to start getting the vaccine. Well, I just feel like if I've never had the flu, then why waste the vaccine on me, right? I also found out that I didn't have COVID when I thought I did, right? I thought I had antibodies, and I've never even, and was just asymptomatic. I've never had COVID. And I was right next to, my other half who had COVID. So I'm kind of iffy on the vaccine too as well. But if it's a mandate, then there's a mandate to save some lives. But there's some really big conspiracy theorists behind the vaccine. There are a lot of conspiracy theories behind this vaccine, and I don't know what to do with that. Like, I don't. Well, for those of you that help me understand what your thought process is. But the mask wearing thing, I have to wear my mask for 8 hours a day. Some of y'all out here mad about wearing a mask for 30 minutes. Let that sink in.
Try wearing a mask and teaching. Yeah. Wearing a mask and teaching is very difficult, but we do it to save a life.
Oh, okay. So, well, good luck to you all down there in South Carolina. Looks like herd immunity will come quicker than some thought. Oh, what did he call it? Herd mentality? Was that what was said? Herd mentality?
I don't
I
know.
think
Who
that was the thing.
knows?
Yeah, that was the current. Speaking of
You mean herd immunity?
no, the hey, look, it's Ethan Michael, everyone. He's
We talk
making
about something else.
cameo appearance. Well, I was saying that the herd mentality was the phrase used by the current administration, who was on his way out.
Oh, okay.
He mentioned herd mentality. That was.
Did he really say that?
He really said that. Yes, he said herd mentality. So that's what we're calling it until January 20th, I guess.
I mean, I guess sounds about right.
Speaking of COVID numbers going up as they are, and death tolls, right?
Bye.
He just jumps on and jumps off. Ethan Michael, everyone, our producer back behind the scenes, making sure that we look good. Speaking of COVID numbers on the rise and death tolls, of course, increasing, hospital systems being strenuously overwhelmed. Our current administration does not want to relinquish and transition his power. Is that the transition of power is what they call it, right? Which sounds kind of weird to me because it's not a monarch situation or authoritarian, but him being in office suggests that it is. But with the transitioning of power is putting the upcoming administration behind the eight ball, right? It's putting them in a very tough position to be able to create plans to, act in the manner to get this virus under control, which is a platform that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ran on. In the meantime, he's wasting time trying to get recounts done. He is challenging election results. I just saw today that he's challenging election results in Madison and Milwaukee, two of the most heavily populated Democratic regions in Wisconsin. Also, very hugely populated with people of color. What do you do with that? That's a waste of time. That is such a waste of time and money. Like he's wasting time, he's wasting money, and meanwhile, the upcoming presidential administration has some work to get done, right? For us, for the people of this country. And how is that American, right? How is he putting America? How is he making America great by doing this? I don't know, Kendra. Do you have any thoughts on this? Because I'm at a loss of words with this.
I like that you just asked, like, how is that American? Because the people who support him calling themselves patriots. So that's a really good question, though. But they're like they're some of the most un-American people ever. Like, how do you love this country? But that's a whole different soapbox. That's a whole different show. Well,
but they are going to rallies still, like the Million MAGA March. That's so uncreative. But anyway, these super spreader events, as they're being called, which I'm sure this is yet another one where COVID cases are gonna rise because of their irresponsibility of. But their argument could very well be all of the celebrations that took place when Joe Biden was announced as the new president-elect. Chicago's on a stay-at-home order, so I go to work as an essential employee now, and I come home. I'm not going to any events. Don't ask me to come out to go anywhere.
Okay.
Just put it out there. How are the schools going down there in South Carolina, Kendra? What are schools looking like? Are you all still in the hybrid schedule?
We're still on the schedule. The new buzzword is our plexiglass things that every student is getting on their desk. There's lots of talk about going back face-to-face 5 days a week. I'm not really pushing to go back face-to-face 5 days a week. The plexiglass is in. We don't really know what's happening.
that's got to suck for, everyone, I think, is having this kind of mentality, has this mentality that students do better in schools. And I think you mentioned this once before in the past. They're not really back in the normal school setting that they're familiar with being in. What effect is that having on kids being in that type of environment in the classroom?
So everyone was talking about social and emotional health, and I'm all for social emotional health. If we don't have socially and emotionally healthy students, then they're not going to learn anything. But like today at recess, for example, our kids found a tennis ball and they're throwing it back and forth, and we had to say, hey, you can't do that. Like, come on, what is that? Like, they have to go outside and walk. They have to wear masks. They have to be 6 feet apart. Only half of their friends are there. So it's not school again, but it's not what people think it's not what people knew. I don't know when we'll get back to that, but it ain't it right now.
Well, you were kind of breaking up a bit there, but it sounds like that they're just not in the best environment, and people are criticizing the health experts, the city and government leaders who are, in fact, suggesting that kids not go back to school or mandating that kids not go back to in-person learning. But I would expect nothing less from South Carolina, who has lifted the mask mandate. What are the numbers down there for you all?
Yeah. I know we've been over 1,000 for consecutive days. We're up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so in this, I want to. I'm nervous about, and Kendra, maybe you can help me out with this. Your thought behind this. What is going to happen? Is Trump ever really going to concede? And what are our lives going to look like from now until January 20th? Because I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm worried that we might fall apart as a nation. Right? Like there might be some horrible things that happen because this transition of power doesn't take place. What are your thoughts?
I keep telling people that as of now, and even after, President Biden, we're still, especially South Carolina, still living in Trump's America. I don't see South Carolina. We still have Lindsey Graham, and I don't see much changing. Why there's still to do. Like that big sigh of relief when Biden won is great, but super temporary. Like,
yeah. You all are in Trump's America down there, and Trump's internet right now is messing with your Wi-Fi because I'm blaming that's Trump's internet on that. It's a thing. But until we get to January 20th, for those of you that are watching that want to call in, I'm really interested to hear from you all. What are you doing to get through? If you support Trump or you support Biden, what is it that you're doing to get through these next couple of months? The holidays are coming up. We can't really kick it like we normally would, Hey, give us a call, let us know. You said last week, Kendra, that we needed to still call Biden out on his bullshit, because he's not really been in, the best position with Americans, specifically Black Americans, but people of color. Yet he got our vote. What is your take on that? Like, what are some of the things that you think we should be calling him out
on? So we are really good at calling Trump out on everything, because to me, like, Trump is like outwardly racist, but Biden says his shit too, and we have to make sure we say, hey, you can't say that, right? And so still having those conversations, still letting, the other white people in my life, I still need to let them know, like, hey, the work's not over. Like, we still have to do stuff. Because a lot of times, like, our allyship is fueled by anger, especially with Trump. We stay angry. That when he's gone, we still need to have that motivation. There's Biden does that can piss us off. He's just not as dumb, and he is a little more sneaky about it. So just keeping people in the loop of what's happening. Like stuff he does might not make headlines, but we got to call him out. Yep, there you go.
Right. He's definitely he's more political. And when it comes to politics, he has played that game. He knows that game. Right. And that was one of the things that I was worried about with Mike Pence, if he were to ever get in the position of president, that he knows how to play the game of politics, and he can be a little bit more, sneaky behind it. And I understand, right? Let me put this out there. I'll keep saying this. I understand why people voted Trump into office. They were tired of politics and the typical political games. They wanted someone who was more business sense than politician. But as I've said before, you can't play business and politics, because when you lose in business, you lose your business. When you lose in politics and leadership, people die, as we're seeing now. Right? He wanted to be this businessman and run this country like a business. Well, he's not the best businessman, as we know, and here we are with over 250,000 deaths in our country. Is that how many deaths were at? 250? I think it was 250, over 250,000. And here we are, right? When you lose in politics like that, people die, and that's just where we are. So for the next month and a half or 2 months now, I think it's going to be rough, right? I think we as a country are really going to deal with some turmoil. I'm hoping that nothing comes out of that, negatively, that we're not, terrorized by any outside forces or inside forces for that matter. But for him to not want to transition power, for him to waste time on trying to recount votes and challenge election results. I mean, this is the second time you've lost the popular vote. I'm a little worried. I'm a little nervous for our country, right? I mean, our country has its ups and downs, but these next 2 months are going to be really rough for us, especially if he doesn't know how, or if he doesn't take the responsibility that he has to let his fantasy go. Here's the thing, though, for those of you that are watching, Trump's going to probably go to jail. Like he's working on pardoning himself, or trying to get a pardon for himself. I believe there are about 6 outstanding cases in which 3 of them are criminal that he may face jail time for once he's out of office. I know some people that want to see that. I know some people that actually want to see him in an orange jumpsuit. I was going to say I'm not too far from it myself. So, but I mean, like real talk. That's why he's fighting so hard to stay in office, because he knows once he's out, it's a wrap for him. Like he stands a chance of going to jail. Womp womp. But I don't know about you, Kendra, but I personally, I think that he should be held accountable for the state of our country. Like I think he should be held accountable for the way this virus has transcended and how, it has disrupted lives, right? It has killed, it has done so much because of the lack of leadership. Any other failing business, the CEO, if things are go under or whatever, the CEO is held responsible for that. You know what I mean? Right. So I feel like personally, he should be held accountable for this too. His lack of leadership and right now not transitioning power is yet still putting lives at risk. And people don't get that.
No, they don't.
But be that as it may, here we are. And again, if you all have some ideas or tips to share on how you're making it through these next couple of months, the number's down there at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to give us a call and and let us know, because I need some suggestions. I do. So here's the thing. If Joe gets in office, when Joe gets in office, excuse me, when Joe Biden gets in office, and he'll have Kamala there to check him on, as we've said on the show before, hey, Joe, you can't say that. How do you feel about a national lockdown for a duration of time, Kendra?
I feel like we don't have another option, especially in South Carolina. Like if we can't trust people to have common sense and do what they're supposed to. We have to lock it down. I mean, and I'm speaking from a place of privilege because I do have a job where I will continue, even because I can do it online, teaching. But I don't think we have any other option. I think that's the only way.
Yeah, I as an essential employee now, I see people coming into the place where I work in groves, and to me that just screams irresponsibility. Like, why does the whole household have to go out to shop for essential items and groceries? Does the whole household need to go? Like everybody? Not necessarily.
It's a whole family affair.
I mean, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It really does not have to be. But the flip side of that is, you're right. That's going to impact a lot of people financially, right? If I'm off of work for I was out of work for 6 months, and I think the frustrating thing for me is that we can't move forward until we actually get this virus under control, right? So being in the position that I'm in now, it would hurt, right? But at least it gives us some type of potential control over the spread of this. But here we are, an America of freedom. I mean, a country of freedoms, and people don't want that. People think that's the government, I think, making too much of an influence and interest and impact into someone's life. But we have no leadership.
That's it.
I don't know.
And I need people to understand that when we say that, we're not saying that Trump caused COVID or he caused the pandemic, but his response is completely 100% his responsibility, and that he can be blamed for. So before anyone's in our DMs saying that we think that Donald did the Rona, we don't. He just could have responded a lot better, and this thing could have been gone a long time ago.
How many other countries actually have, right? There's so many other countries that have beat this thing. Here we are, yet still just, death tolls rising again, and here comes the healthcare system about to. I don't want it to topple over, man. I really don't. Every time I see someone walk in to work with scrubs on, it's an immediate thank you for your service to the healthcare community and industry.
Yes,
because the work, I don't know if you watched Chicago Med, but the season premiere of Chicago Med came out last week. I'm putting this out there because I have to. It's Chicago Med. I am a fan of Dick Wolf and his work. However, they were, these series are utilizing, COVID as their storyline. Sorry, and they highlighted what these medical workers are really going through in the emergency rooms and ICUs, and having to be there next to patients who are dying alone. You know what I mean? That's treacherous. Shout out to Corey, who was on last week, who has been adamantly posting about his experiences in the ICU or in the ward that he's in, and having to interact and engage with COVID patients. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, but we need some type of leadership, and the lack of leadership that we've gotten through this is it's horrific. And I don't see another option than just we have to shut down. Like we got to just lock down for 2 weeks at the minimum.
And the people who are going to be mad about it are going to be the people who are the reasons why we have to lock down. If you would have just done what you were supposed to begin with, whether your president encouraged it or not, we wouldn't have. This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is it.
Well, I don't know. I want to put some feelers out there and take bets on when we think that he's actually going to concede. I really want to. When do you think Trump will actually concede, if ever? Do you think he will ever really concede?
Probably not. Probably
Right.
not.
No. So, in other news, I don't know if you heard that Black Lives Matter organization would like to meet with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
I love that you said her name first.
Right. Sure. It wasn't
Kamala,
anything from
Kamala girl, if you're watching this and y'all meet with them, keep Joe in check, please. Man.
I think it's Patrice Cullors, I think is how you pronounce her name, who's a co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement. She's requested a meeting with President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris to discuss the quote-unquote expectations that she has for their administration. She sent a letter, I believe, I'm not sure when she sent the letter, but that she wanted to really kind of discuss what the expectation for that administration should be for the Black community. What do you think that meeting would sound like? I'm just curious. What do you think that meeting would sound like?
Well, it makes me scared because, like we said, Joe needs to, I don't know if you're a Hamill fan, but he needs to talk less and smile more. And, but it needs to happen. That meeting needs to happen, I do believe. Because, obviously we're marching and we're protesting and there's a lot of stuff going on, but now it's time for like some legislation to happen and some reformation and some possible defunding needs to happen. So that's the next step.
Hey, Kendra, I wonder if there is...
You guys got a caller.
Yay!
Do you want to take your caller or do you want to finish your thought?
It's these cameo appearances that I love so much. Real quick, I wonder if there is a white activist group, ally group that could pull that same meeting, that needs to pull that same meeting. We'll circle back to that. Put a pin in it. Let's take our caller.
He can meet with white troublemakers.
I think the same thing. But yeah, we... do we still have the call?
The finger.
Okay, Nelly.
Hello?
Nelly, you are on with Rick and Kendra.
Hi, Nelly. Thanks for calling.
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you, yes.
Yeah, first I want to say, man, I love the show. Rick, you're doing a great job. Ethan and also Kendra. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is what can we do during this pandemic? I know you have mentioned that earlier, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so pretty much what it comes down to is I think the pandemic is a big business killer. So what we got to focus on is, number one, saving. Number two, as far as a small business, going more into the tech space and making sure you can have those users. So for instance, my app is called the Personal Touch app. And what the Personal Touch app is doing is helping small businesses raise money. And we're doing that through a unique way. So during this time of COVID, pretty much what's been happening is I use this time of isolation to pretty much just focus on the business, try to push more of the group economics aspect, and at the same time, give other people the ability to heighten their skills. So whenever the job market opens back, they'll be able to be overqualified for whatever job they go to. So instead of just depending on leadership, I think we're at a time where we have to be the leaders and be able to work together.
Wow. So Kendra, say hello to your frat brother.
Hey, frat.
I love that this is always a blue and white takeover on the show. Like it's just
Love it.
The blue and white always comes through, man. Always comes through. Listen, so with I know that with your app, you're doing amazing things in the tech space and getting that information out there. I want to make sure that we get that share too. But I'm interested in your comment about us having to be the leaders now. I'm concerned about that only because, right, we have these elected officials who we put in office to be the leaders. Why should that onus fall back on us? Like this is what we elected the people for.
Yeah.
These people for.
That's a very good question, man. That's a very good question. Unfortunately, everybody has the ability to vote. So I mean, unfortunately, for what we're seeing like for instance, Trump, right? He's a person that plays on emotions. He plays on fears. And that's one of the reasons why he's getting out and is going towards Biden's way. So to talk more about that is, what we learned from this is you cannot rely on somebody else to lead you. You have to be able to lead yourself. That's kind of what I got from this. But also what we have to pay attention to is we always have to be involved in these local elections as far as voting. Because before, especially when I talk to a lot of rap brothers and just everybody else in general, people weren't really interested in the election until this year, right? Especially whenever it came to local elections or voting for certain propositions that were in your area. It seemed like people were more interested in voting when they felt like their life was in danger. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people actually voted this year, because they literally felt that if this doesn't go a certain way, certain things like race wars and things like that would happen. There's obviously been like a significant fear. So to kind of like go back to the beginning, it's about getting involved, because the people that were involved in the very beginning, they voted in this direction. So we all have to be involved as a community, so this never happens again and somebody like Trump doesn't get back in office.
I love that.
Yeah.
Local elections matter. Local elections matter. I can't say that enough. Yeah. And when you're talking about us having to be the leaders, I speak as a teacher. Like, administration, they're doing but it's like, I feel like it's the teachers. We've had to get creative. We've had to think in ways we've never had to think. Like, we've had to take control. And it's the teachers in the trenches. Admin, I don't want their job right now because all the decisions they're making. But I'm sure it's the same, in other industries. It's the people who are working that are having to step up and think in ways they've never thought before.
Exactly.
Well, you got to deal with Betsy DeVos there, Kendra. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And kind of tag on that. A lot of times what we do is, so my bachelor's in political science, I have a minor in business law, right? We always look at that president as the main person, but you have to understand that there's also Democrats and Republicans. A lot of times the Republicans are they're empowering the president in a sense, because you have the Senate and the House of Republicans, so it all matters about when people vote, it's being involved all the way, right? Because there's a lot of stuff I'm seeing on TV where it should not have gotten this far. But then also educate yourself on the political system and how it works. For instance, I knew a lot of people who didn't know about the Electoral College and how that works, right?
Oh,
A lot of people didn't know about what conceding is, or how are you supposed to concede, or what even happens if a president doesn't concede, like in his current situation. So it's just about educating yourself on pretty much just anything in life, right? You have to educate yourself before you go into anything.
Oh, well, listen, I can't say or shout that enough as you both have just said. The local elections matter probably a lot more than the presidential election. I'm just gonna throw that out there, because I personally think that. Last question for you, Fran, before we let you go. When you talk about you and you're creating a business, a lot of small businesses are also going to be impacted by if a shutdown takes place. If with the future of our country and small businesses really rely on what happens with fighting and dealing with this pandemic. How do you feel about, as you mentioned, the House of Representatives and the Senate, the Congress, the congressional part of our leadership not coming to a conclusion for stimulus for people like yourselves who are trying to get businesses out there and up, and are really feeling the impact on several different fronts? How do you feel about where we are with the lack of support from the government?
So I'm gonna start off with the bad and then the good, right?
Okay.
The bad is it's very horrible. Living in California, I'm seeing a lot more homeless. I'm seeing a lot more people not able to pay rent. I'm seeing a lot of just disaster. We're dang near about to go on our second riot. We already had one during this situation, and most likely we're going to have another. So then there is the positive part. What this shows us is things are slow whenever it comes to agreements in the House of Representatives and the Senate. It is what it is, right? So what you have to do is just believe in your business and keep going forward no matter what. Because what's so amazing about this situation, especially as a small business, if you're able to run on a low budget like especially like I have and other people that I know through this pandemic, as soon as these loans and other opportunities come about, you're going to be even more efficient. You're going to be in a better position to handle that money and your blessings.
And
so
as we
keep it moving, man. Go ahead.
As we say, that's the black ass bottom line. Hey, can you? I definitely, like I said, want to make sure we get the link to your app, because I know I've downloaded the app, and you've been doing a lot and putting a lot of work behind that. Here's an opportunity again to support Black businesses. Please share the link in the YouTube comments so folks can actually check it out as well. I appreciate you calling, man. Thank you so much. You stay safe out there in California. I know y'all got a lot going on out there too.
Right.
Appreciate you watching.
Thanks, Brett.
No problem, man. Thank you so much. Have a good.
All right, have a good night, man. You know what? He's totally right. There's so much that goes into. There's so many different aspects to approach this from, right there. There's so many different government entities. There's a lot around this, but I want to circle back to, you mentioned, Kendra, that maybe they can be with white troublemakers. Would you get that up off the ground so we can get them up there? Let's just get some people over there.
Let me write a letter.
But I'm serious. I'm like, I wonder, because as we've said on the show several times, we'll keep saying it. Racism is not going to be changed by people of color, by Black people. It's not. Racism has to be changed. White people have got to be more anti-racist, right? And I wonder what white activist groups that specifically have Black American interests, the best at heart for Black Americans, are they stepping up? Are they reaching out and saying, hey, are they joining with the BLM group and saying we want to be there too and hold y'all accountable? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see that. That's what I want to see.
Right. Well, I'm weird. I'm weird about that, because I'm thinking, like, I don't really know any like white activist groups. But then again, I'm like, that's also very white centering to create a white activist group. So I'm like, I'm struggling with that one a little bit. But
yeah, no,
I don't know. I think Biden might need to meet with some white troublemakers. Then Ethan will go. He's my other white troublemaker. We'll go.
Yes. I will be right there with you and Ethan behind you with a sign. White troublemakers, them pointing right there, y'all. But I want the organization to, as you say, be able to call Biden out on, the things that he has a troubling past with, as well as I'm hoping for that. That's what I'm hoping for. That they're able to get through to the administration to say, let's make some changes. I think we have another caller joining us too as well.
Such a good one too.
Yeah. Let's see if we can bring our caller on. I think we're joined by Cynthia McDonald, host of the 13%. Is that what I hear?
Last time I checked.
Yes, it is. Miss Cynthia McDonald joining us. Hey there, Miss Cynthia McDonald. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. Are you driving again?
Right.
No. These particular time periods, you do not catch me driving. I am snug in my home and what have you. So I'm here. Because
we have the stay-at-home order here in Chicago.
Jealous.
Yes, we do. So I'm following instructions, and I'm saying my what do you call the black ass bottom line at home? How about that?
Yes. I still am. I'm taking up a collection for Ethan to say that. I'm sure that I have to start a collection for Ethan to say that one time. But anyway, Cynthia, go ahead with your comment.
Wait, say the black ass bottom line.
There it is. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Wait, I wasn't looking at the camera. And that's the black ass bottom line.
I love it. If you ever want to change the name of the show, that's the black ass bottom line.
Go ahead, Miss Cynthia, with your comment.
I'm totally okay with that. I mean, like, if you all want to put a poll in the chat to change in black and white to the black ass bottom line, I'm really okay with that.
What you got going on, Miss Cynthia?
Oh goodness, nothing much. I was just listening to you all a little bit. I was like, man, what are we talking about again? I forgot. Who knows? It's all right. I'm old. But anyway, so I was just wondering, I keep on going back to this whole thing about, okay, so now that Biden is going into office, right? And we got Kamala, plus, you know, some other people who have gotten elected in the House and the Senate and things of that nature. Where do we go? Where do we go from here, right?
Right.
And I was listening to your friend who was talking previously about the basics of a political education, and I would tell you, for me personally, I did not realize how much I didn't know until after Obama left office and Trump came into office. When it came to politics. And, you know, like, I knew, like, the very basics, like, you know, okay, like, you have an executive branch, you have a legislative branch, you have a judiciary branch, a judicial branch, right?
Correct.
And you know the executive branch, that's the office of the president and his cabinet. You have the legislative branch, which is the House of Representatives and the Senate, and you have your judiciary branch, which is, you know, at the top is the highest, is the Supreme Court, where, you know, those people are appointed for life, right? But as far as, like, how that works when it comes to policy, what to advocate for, what not to advocate for, what makes sense to a group of people that you're with, or what some of the powers of the office of the president can do for people that we may think that they could do or not could do, I was so ignorant of that. And I say that to say this. So there's a lot to call for, you know, certain policies for Biden to advocate for when he goes into office come January, right? And you already have a pundit weighing in on some of those things. And even, like, you know, other people that's part of his party, and including Senator Warren, who wrote a thread on, like, some of the policies that you know, Biden can do. Didn't say that he will do, but can do. And one of the things that she talked about was canceling millions of dollars, even millions or billions of dollars in student debt that will help close the racial wealth gap. And I wanted to tell Miss Warren that canceling student debt, even though I would love for you to cancel student debt, especially when I look at my student debt, but that's not going to close the racial wealth gap. And I think that what ends up happening is that, you know, a lot of people just likes to throw out particular things without necessarily knowing the data when it comes to specific groups and their position in America. And I'll just give you, like, a few numbers, like, specifically for, like, Black Americans. Like, Black Americans out there, even though, like, you know, they that now that they said that, like, Black women are, like, the most educated group in the United States at this particular time, but out of the entire group, we only have we only hold about 16%, like, when it comes to degrees. And only about 35% of our group that goes to college actually graduates.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on one second, Cynthia. So wait, I just want to real quick, because I was going to ask you for some numbers, because I know that you are that person and I love you for it. I love when you drop knowledge like that. But I'm sorry, did you say that the most educated group right now are Black women? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, from this is a truism that I believe that has been thrown out and around in the media. And I haven't completely corroborated that, but you know, it sounds about right. Sure.
I mean, I wanted to say that again because Black women need that, you know, and we gotta support Black women in this country because Black women do. This election happened because of Black women. You know what I mean? Gotta shout out Black women.
You know,
Absolutely.
And Sam, you know, this election happened because of Black people. I can't just give it to the sisters, but
I mean, true. It did.
Y'all voted. Black men voted 80% for Biden.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
I know that. Like, I was a little upset. I'm about to pivot to Obama because I was upset at him for this because he sat down recently with the Atlantic, and they asked him specifically about why is there more support among Black men for Trump. And you know what he said?
I didn't see the full interview. I've only seen clips. What did he say?
Well, now I'm worried.
Yeah, you should be. He basically, hold on. Let me go to my page real quick so I can say exactly what he
For those
said.
of you that have never seen the 13%, make sure you tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on at YFNA News so that you can see Cynthia live pull up receipts because what she does and what she will have.
Right.
Are the receipts.
She protects herself.
Y'all gonna have to wait until January because you know we're taking a break right now. But we're taking a break until January 18th.
But you can check out past shows at YFNA News on YouTube.
Get caught up.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So what he said was, hold on. Let me go to it. He said, okay. He said that it's interesting. People are writing about the fact that Trump increased his support among Black men in the 2020 presidential election and the occasional rapper who supported Trump, Obama said. I have to remind myself that if you listen to rap music, it's all about the bling, the women, the money. A lot of rap videos are using the same measures of what it means to be successful as Donald Trump, he continued. Everything is gold-plated, and that insinuates itself and seeps into the culture.
You know, so here's the thing. I can understand the frustration there, but
we'll stop right there. Okay, go ahead.
I don't really disagree. And here's what I mean when I say that. I think we talked about it once before on the show, that the people who are supporting Trump are in support of him because they have money, right? And even I think I can't remember who else did a very similar interview that said, you know, the mentality is, you know, like the people who are listening to the rap music, you know, it's all about money, it's all about fame, it's all about this and that, and they're quoting, you know, kind of being like Trump. To them, it's this fantasy of what they can achieve through this avenue and live this rich, luxurious lifestyle, because that's what's kind of been and that's rap music. Like, that's not hip hop. Let me clarify. There's a difference between the two, right? Because Cynthia, you and I, we come from, you know, old school hip hop music, right? Hip hop and rap are two different things. Right. But in the rap music, you know, it's all about. So but go ahead and finish your thought there, because I'm going to cut you off.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so no, it's okay, because like here's the thing. There has always been a sect of rap music that was like misogynistic, was about bling, was about was violent, and I don't particularly care for that one, you know, that particular kind of music. However, what I found was really disappointing and upsetting about what he said is that, first off, it was very anecdotal, because he just said, okay, I see rappers meeting with Trump, so that means that it's about this particular thing, and also too because Trump was cited a lot in rap music of yesteryear. But one of the things that I would tell Mr. Obama, I said, well, sir, you elevated rappers and musicians and whatnot when you was president too. You was chilling with Jay-Z and all of them. All the youngs and the littles was up in the White House too when you were there.
The young and the littles. I need a minute.
Okay, give you a minute. So
because
okay,
that is everybody's name. Yeah. Young this, little that.
like all of them. You know, they were up in like I said, and also Jay-Z spent a lot of time with Obama. You know what I'm saying? And he even talked about like who was in his playlist and all this other stuff. And it was hip hop. You know, some of the same people that, you know, now that he's saying that, oh, why are they meeting with Trump and all this other stuff? So that's the problem. The second thing that I would say is this. And then also too, like when I was talking about it being anecdotal, you don't have any data to corroborate what you're saying. You're just going about based on what you see, not necessarily based on what you know, right? And another thing is like, why can't we look at what could be the disheartening portion concerning the Democratic Party when it comes to Black folks? This is what I mean by that is this. We have been voting Democratic for over 50 years, but we have not seen any transformative legislation since 1964.
Let that sink in.
I'm just saying, like, you know, instead of saying that, okay, well, you know, those rappers and all, then people like to bling. I'm like, what about policy? I mean, like, you know, some of the main reasons why you saw people in the street after George Floyd died murder is because we have a pervasive problem when it comes to racism and police and vigilantes with Black folks. And it was under Obama. It was under George Bush. It was under president after president after president, right? And then also, and now you're also having a rising of other voices that are talking specifically about the racial wealth gap, going back to Senator Warren. And right now you have a racial wealth gap where white people in America hold over 90% of the wealth in the United States, and Black Americans only hold 2.6%. And we are slated to be at 0% of zero wealth by 2053, and you can bet your bottom dollar that particular number has been sped up since the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're not necessarily dealing here with anecdotal issues when it comes to, oh, I just want to be rich like Donald Trump. No, we're dealing with, you know what? We are suffering under the way that America is working for Black people right now. And we've been suffering for centuries,
for a long time. And I love your point about we've been voting Democratic and haven't gotten, you know, any changes. But I hate to jump in, Ms. Cynthia, but we're coming up on the hour, so I got to make sure that we get wrapped up here as well. But I yet again, I cannot thank you enough for helping us close out the show, because you're my sister in this family, and I love the receipts that you are always able to bring. So thank you very much for the call, and we will have to continue that discussion. I think that we should create a show around that to talk about it.
I agree. Well, you all be safe out there, and thank you guys for letting me ramble.
Thanks, Cynthia McDonald, host of the 13%, airing again on January 18th on YFNA News on YouTube. Make sure that you get caught up and check out the past shows with her and Arthur Ward as they talk about the politics and policies that affect the Black community. Ms. Kendra, it's been fun again. Thank you again for being here with me as well. And I think I would want to take a moment to bring Ethan on to say thanks to our patrons who continue to support our channel.
Thank you to Marsha Ortega, Best Name Ever, Cynthia McDonald, Marlon Watson, Ian Davenport, and Eric Fox. All of you rock. You are helping us make this show better. You know, everything that comes in contributes to improving the quality of the show. You know, if you look at our first episode versus the episode now, I think you'd be happy in seeing the quality difference. We've upgraded Rick and Cynthia's equipment, even my own, and we're constantly trying to do everything we can to make this show better. And if you want to become a patron, if you like what we do, there's a link in the description, and you can help us out for as little as $1 a month. And yes, every single dollar helps.
I got new headphones too. I mean, these are things that are helping. So, but I'm not wearing them tonight.
tomorrow night is the debut of my new show, and I'm super excited. It's going to be on my other channel, youtube.com/YFNAtheist. It's called The Pickup Line. It is a call-in show and where we talk about dating, sex, things like that. Tomorrow's topic, porn and relationships. And whoever calls in with the best pickup line will win a $25 Amazon gift card.
So for those of you that don't know, I say it all the time, Ethan is probably the hardest working man in live streaming media. I appreciate the fact that he's broken up with me, but he is continuing on. So make sure that you jump over there and check out the show. I can't wait.
I didn't keep up with you. This is, you remember Table for Two with Holly and I?
I remember, yes. I know exactly what it is. I'm just saying.
This was like the Table for Two replacement.
That's fine. But
I feel like you broke up with Rick and I'm the side piece. I'm fine with it. Totally fine with it.
You're the side piece till I want him back.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
When I take him back, you're gonna have to, move on.
That's I can do that.
I feel so great being fought after. Listen, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little alarm button so that you can get notifications for every time that we go live. It's always a pleasure every Wednesday to see you. We look forward to next week's topic, whatever that may be. And as always, whenever there's racism to fight.
Wait, you said it wrong. Is it whenever? I thought it's, and while there's still.
I thought it was as long as.
As long as. There we go. Thank you. As long as there is racism. Crap. All right, go ahead.
As long as there's racism to fight.
There will always be in black and white. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.